emerge is that protesters that are pro-police, protesters that are, part of, militia, as we've heard of, that they are not getting arrested and they are not getting curfew tickets, as are the other protesters.
The Kenosha County Sheriff's Department did respond, saying in part, has worked tirelessly to bring out order back into our community and has been careful to protect the rights of all citizens throughout that process. We plan to seek an immediate dismissal of this lawsuit. Joe Biden and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, will visit Kenosha tomorrow, 2 days after President Trump came through to tour damage left behind by the unrest in the city. Tony Atkins shares what we now know about the Biden's visit.
It's unclear exactly what the former Vice President Joe Biden will do when he comes to Kenosha for his visit on Thursday. What we do know is, though, is that at some point he will meet with the family of Jacob Blake.
I'm not going to tell Kenosha what they have to do, but we have to do together.
Former Vice President Joe Biden previewing his upcoming trip to Kenosha. Biden, alongside his wife Jill, plans to meet with Kenosha's community, business, and law enforcement leaders.
This is about making sure that we move forward.
People like Diego Celayas, whose family runs this boarded-up appliance shop in uptown Kenosha, have no choice but to move forward.
We're here when, after the cameras are shut off and all that, we're still here.
Biden's trip to Wisconsin follows President Donald Trump's visit on Tuesday. Diego's message to Biden is the same he had for President Trump: bring people together.
Joe Biden, if he's going to talk to the people and, really, extend his hand, to help people, then yeah, that's the same thing I said about Trump.
Biden's trip to Kenosha is 2 weeks to the day he should have been in Milwaukee to accept the Democratic nomination for president during the Democratic National Convention. It's his first stop in this all-important state during the 2020 election season.
The sign melted from the building.
Diego says Kenosha right now needs reassurance they won't be left behind after the city is no longer in the national spotlight.
If they're coming to really help, then I'm all for it. But if they're just coming just to, make themselves look good, you might as well not even come.
A spokesperson with the Trump campaign says, in part, quote, Wisconsin voters will rightly reject Joe Biden's efforts to play politics with a community burned by his own supporters. Reporting in Kenosha, Tony Atkins, TMJ4 News.
And of course, we will continue to follow developments out of Kenosha, so stay up to date with our continuing coverage at tmj4.com. Now to more local news. The internal investigation into suspended Milwaukee police officer Michael Mattioli is now back in the hands of the department. The city's Fire and Police Commission today sent a letter saying that it is withdrawing its disciplinary hearing into Mattioli. The officer is charged with homicide, accused of choking Joel Acevedo to death back in April while he was off duty at his home. The FPC had previously ordered police to halt its internal investigation into Mattioli under former Chief Alfonso Morales. A man is in custody tonight after police in Waukesha say that a woman was attacked while walking her dog. A neighbor who helped that victim says that the man poured gasoline on the woman, then set her on fire. She has several burns on both of her arms. The victim told the neighbor who helped her she believes the attack was random. Charges have now been filed in the death of a Milwaukee Police Community Service officer. Mohab admits in a criminal complaint that he shot his neighbor, Naeem Sarosh. Sarosh's family says he confronted Alfez after he found grass clippings in his yard. Sarosh served with the Milwaukee Police Department for 4 years. Well, this afternoon, the body of that CSO, Sarosh, was taken to a cemetery for a private funeral service. It was held with family and law enforcement. New at 6. Major relief for renters today as the Trump administration announces a nationwide eviction moratorium lasting till the end of the year. Consumer investigator Kristen Byrne has more on how this impacts our area.
Governor Evers' 60-day ban on evictions expired May 26th, and soon we saw eviction numbers climb here in southeast Wisconsin. But now, over the next 4 months, that won't be happening.
The White House says it wants to help hardworking Americans stay in their homes during the pandemic. And so President Trump has announced a national ban on evictions until December 31st.
Parents still have to face the fact, are they going to feed their families, pay the car note, pay rent. So I think it's a good thing.
Larry Nelson of Milwaukee works in the restaurant business and lost his job early on in the pandemic.
It was good that the moratorium was in place, or I myself would have been kicked out on the streets.
Data shows renters make up more than half of households in Milwaukee County. And June proved to be one of the most difficult months for renters here. Court data shows landlords filed more than 1,400 evictions in the county, about a 26% jump from last June. The latest data shows slight improvements. August saw a 39% drop in evictions compared to last year.
Is it a step in the right direction?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We welcome it and we're surprised by it.
Attorney Colleen Foley with Legal Aid Society of Milwaukee supports this ban on evictions.
The other half of the equation is funding so that people can pay their rent and landlords can pay their mortgage.
The Wisconsin Rental Assistance Program in our state pledged $25 million in federal dollars to Wisconsinites struggling to make monthly rent.
Why wasn't that enough to kind of fix the housing issues with evictions?
There is incredible need, and that money is going to go away in a heartbeat.
The 4-month moratorium comes with criticism, especially for landlords who have to keep making payments on their properties. Here's a spokesperson for the National Multifamily Housing Council.
Renters would face likely insurmountable debt at the end of the moratorium period. Meanwhile, you're risking failure of the property itself. That's because owners rely on those rental payments to pay employees' salaries, mortgages, taxes.
The agency believes Congress needs to come up with a better plan to provide housing support. As a renter, Larry Nelson understands property owners need to feed their families too.
So I don't think we can say, oh, well, it's the landlords or it's the renters. I think it's more along the line the government needs to come up with a solution that'll work for everyone.
Kristen Byrne, TMJ4 News.